Alright, so we just got the newest rotation of Pure Fiction in Honkai Star Rail, and today I'm going to do what I did for the Apocalyptic Shadow video from a couple weeks ago and just go over my winning run for Stage 4 here. And I like to do this especially to give some spotlight on, certain characters, and we are definitely spotlighting Clara today because we know Yun Li's banner's about to go away. Yun Li's basically like the power creep version of Clara, but Clara still got it, in all honesty. So we're going to be showing off my run today. I'm going to give him a bit of my analysis. I feel like there's a bit less analysis when it comes to Pure Fiction, so we should be able to get through it pretty fast here. But just to show real quick as well, because the videos themselves don't show it, for the buffs that I chose the follow-up attack one for my first half team here, and then I chose the ultimate damage one for the second half here, because I am going with an Acheron team. So let's just dive right into my run for these. Alright, so for the first half here against Kafka, I'm running the team of Clara, Ron, May, Robin, and Huo. So for this one, because there is a lot of physical weakness, physical isn't like one of the stronger elements on my account, so I was like, you know what? Since there's a follow-up attack buff, let's run Clara and let's just have a ton of support, plus Huo giving energy, so we could try to get as many Clara ults up as possible, plus as many Robin ults for the extra action advance. So just starting this up here. And honestly, me pulling Huo with her current rerun banner was such a good decision. I feel like she helps out so much. So if you're watching this right before her banner goes away and you've been thinking about pulling her, I think she's definitely gonna be worth it. So pretty much the one thing about Clara that you do have to keep in mind is that for how many points you're going to be able to get in a mode like Pure Fiction and how much damage you're going to be able to do, it's really just going to be dependent on how much she gets targeted. Now, I am going to show my builds at the end of the video as well, but I am running her signature light cone, which does help for her being able to be attacked. But if you don't have her signature light cone, you could run a character like Lynx, for example, who can either like Lynx or March 7th, who can impact the aggro of a character. And by March 7th, I mean the preservation one. So yeah, pretty much here, just focusing on trying to get Clara's ult up as much as possible here. I am also running Pure Fiction on auto. That's just something I tend to do for Pure Fiction because I personally don't have like the most fun with it. I am going to be making a video sometime soon giving my overall thoughts about Star Rail's endgame as a whole. So definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah, for Pure Fiction, doing it manually is not like the most enjoyable thing in the world to me. Plus, with how little health that the enemies have, a lot of the time you can just get it done on auto. There are some situations where you gotta do it manually, but a lot of the time, at least in my experience, I've been able to do it on full auto. And it's not too big of a deal here. Yeah, this section here is a little annoying since they're not weak to physical, but because of Robin's extra damage there, plus the follow-ups and the shatter effect as well from the main effect of the Pure Fiction, this phase isn't really even too bad for us to get through. And yeah, so it's pretty much just gonna be rinse and repeat of the same kind of thing, getting as many counters as possible. Now I feel like it's possible to not run a sustain if you're running Clara's signature light cone, but it could be a bit annoying when it comes to characters getting attacked a lot and it becomes a lot more like RNG dependent. I didn't try this without a sustain since this was actually my first side one, and it went well enough for me to not want to run it again or not feel the need to run it again, just because of how often Clara is going to get her attacks. Now obviously I think if I did manual it could be a bit more optimal. Like here you see Robin ult when everyone was going to have actions there anyway, so it wasn't like the craziest ult to have there, but it still is fine because you really just need to get either at 30k per side or around 30k. So yeah, it wasn't really too bad for this one, and you're going to see here, like I said with the RNG, we are going to actually end this run slightly below 30k points for the first half, which just means I need to get slightly above 30k for the second half, and because we're running Acheron the second half, we'll absolutely be able to do that. But yeah, as you can see, Clara is just doing a ton of damage. I mean, obviously she's being helped by two of the best support characters in the game, plus Huo as well with her ultimate buffs every so often, but is still able to hang. Now I do think that when it comes to other modes, you're probably gonna get more value out of a ton of other characters in the game for like DPSs, but I think if you're struggling with pure fiction for physical attacks and you need a character that can do a lot of attacks, or if it's a follow-up based pure fiction, Clara is still a really good option. So if you're like me and you didn't pull for Yunli, Clara is still going to be very good on your account, and it's just gonna have a lot of value overall. And we're actually about to see another piece of RNG here, because this run actually was not looking that great at first, but Robin gets her ult up in time to give us another action, and that's going to bring us to amount of points that makes me accept how we're going to end this off here. Because if Robin didn't get that ultimate there, let me just go back slightly, we were going to be at like 25k, which could be a little scary. Like, I would want to have a little bit more if I can, but the fact that she was able to ult means we can get some more enemies out of the way, plus also getting some extra damage from Robin's ult, plus also the chance of extra counters with the new enemies. So we do manage to get our score up past 29k, which is really good. So we'll be able to basically, like, as long as I get just very slightly above 30k on the other side with the Acheron team, we'll be good to go. And as you guys will see at the end of the video, my Clara build is not that crazy. So she could definitely be better. So now here, we're going to go into side 2. We are running, let me go back to the team here, Acheron, Kafka, Black Swan, and Fu Xuan. They are, pretty much the whole point of this team is to have as many Acheron ults as possible. Kafka has the Herta Light Cone, the Herta Shop Cone, which gives her energy whenever enemies with her dot die on the field. And then Fu Xuan also has Trend of the Universal Market. Plus, Black Swan's Arcana is also really good and applies very often for those extra stacks. So this year we also auto this. And then there also are some enemies like the mainly the Soul Glad dogs there, because when they explode they do give a debuff as well, which is really nice to get more uses of Acheron's ultimate up. And since we have the ultimate buff as well, we are getting extra ultimate damage for the entire team every time we ult. So you're going to start to see the numbers get higher and higher, which is really good. Yeah, plus also the Shatter doing damage to adjacent enemies, either upon the enemy's turn or when the enemy dies. So it is a very good thing to have that constantly activating. It does suck when the dogs die, all together and there's no one to inflict the debuff on, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Okay, we got through wave 1 there pretty convincingly. So yeah, I pretty much need to get through like a decent amount of wave 3. Not like the whole thing or anything like that, but yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. But also, this was actually very lucky too, because if one of these golems didn't attack Black Swan to give her the ultimate, the TV would have taken energy from us, which could have been really annoying. So Black Swan getting the ultimate, not only does that apply another debuff, but we are also, getting the TV to have the happy face, but it also ended up not mattering because of Shatter. But yeah, I think a lot of times in pure fiction, if you are like a free-to-play player, or like your account isn't like super well built up, you are going to have certain RNG moments like that, especially like we saw in the first half there. But as long as your team for pure fiction really lines up with what you need for like the buff and to make the most out of the buff, you should be pretty much fine here. So yeah, we get to wave 3 here while we still have a couple cycles left, which is very nice, so we can try to get the extra, slightly above 10k points that we need. Yep, and because of Fu Xuan having Trend of the Universal Market, I want them to attack her as much as possible, but sometimes the game is not kind enough for that to happen. So we get an Acheron ult off here, and Kafka gets her ult up from the light cone, and she's gonna get a bunch more there. We're already at about 54k, with a whole cycle still left as well. I don't remember if we get another Acheron ultimate here. We either get it or we get very close, but regardless, we are able to get enough damage through the dots as well, plus also the Shatter applications. I ran out of skill points there for Acheron, which sucked, but you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. Huchuan's ult here is actually great because they are weak to Quantum, so that is another debuff applied. Yeah, so we get another Acheron ult and another Kafka ult too. So, kind of killed two birds with one stone there. And with that, I am able to get all of the points that I need for this. Right there from enemy shattering. And then Cocolia just, does her thing, and that's the end of the run there. So, yeah, pretty solid run overall. It was just slightly above 60k. I have 61k, which is all you need, honestly. Like, sure, the max is 80k, but you don't need to go for that at all unless you, like, really are, like, a pure fiction tryhard, which if you are, cool, but that's not for me, in all honesty. But, yeah, that was the run overall. As you see, I got a little bit more in Node 2, a little bit more than 30k to make up for getting a little under 30k for Node 1. So we were all good there regardless. So now let's go take a look at my builds for this run. All right, let's quickly go over my builds here. So for my Clara, her crit ratio honestly isn't like the greatest thing ever, but for pure fiction, it's not the end of the world since they don't have nearly as much HP in there. Speed is base speed because Clara doesn't really need speed. She just needs to get hit. Her light cone is at S2. I pulled 2 of it, so that definitely does help for the attack and damage increases. Plus the additional healing is very nice. Traces, she's at like mid trace level. She could be doing more damage as well. Relic, she's running the 4-piece physical set and 2-piece Salsado. I do have the crit rate requirement for Salsado, so we are getting the extra follow-up damage there. And for Eidolons, we are sitting at E2, so I do also get the additional attack increase from there. Then for Ron May, we are running 156 speed on her. She has 167 break effect outside of battle, but in battle she'll be at 187 with her trace. I am running her signature light cone at S1. I do think that this ends up working better for pure fiction because of the multiple waves, so you do get some extra energy. And for characters that do want to ult as much as possible, this is really nice to have. For traces, all the important ones are maxed out for her, so she's giving her max support. For relics, we're running the 4-piece speed set and 2-piece Penacony, which the Penacony bonus doesn't really help us here for the same type, but it does help us for the energy regen for getting her ultimate up. And she is also at E0. Then for Robin, we're running the 137 speed, which is a little high, but over 4k attack still. We're running the S5 free-to-play light cone from the event in 2.2, which gives her the extra attack and damage during her ultimate. Trace-wise, she's almost maxed out, so could be a little bit more crit damage there, but still giving pretty much all of her max support capabilities there. I'm running 2-piece Musketeer, 2-piece Prisoner for the most attack bonuses, and then 2-piece Fleet of the Ageless for some extra ally attack as well. And I have Robin there at E0. Then for Huohuo, I am running her 139 speed, and I'm running S5 post-op conversation here for the extra energy regen, and also I'm not getting the outgoing healing for the ultimate because her ultimate doesn't heal, but I think the energy regen is valuable enough so I can try to get Huohuo's ult as much as possible. And trace-wise, they're mostly leveled up. I could level up some more to get some extra healing and everything, but I do have her ultimate maxed out so I can give the max amount of energy and attack support. And for relics, I'm running 4-piece Wandering Cloud for the extra skill point and outgoing healing, and then 2-piece Broken Keel for the additional crit damage as well. And I have her at E0. Then for side 2, firstly, we have Acheron here. My Acheron build's still pretty mid, but for pure fiction, she can get the job done. 54.8 over 136.8, so not the craziest ratio here. Light cone wise, I'm still at S3, Good Night Sleep Well. I'm hoping to get some extra copies of that soon because it's a little bit of a yikes. Then for traces, I have her talent and ult maxed out here, which are the main ones you need. I mean, getting this maxed out could also be nice for some extra skill damage, but her ultimate is way more important. Then for relics, I am running an off-piece here, so I only have the 2-piece Pioneer set. Then I have the 2-piece Izumo set for the extra buffs for running another Nihility, which for Acheron, you're going to run her with other Nihilities anyway. And Eidolons, I have her E0. Next up for Kafka, I have her 134 speed over 4k attack as well, running her as a dot build. I'm running S5 solitary healing here for the extra deal break effect is nice for sure as a bonus, but extra dot damage and also 6 energy for every time an enemy with her dot dies on the battlefield. So that's very nice there. Traces are all the important ones there are maxed out, so she can be doing as much damage as possible. Relics, she's running 4-piece prisoner for the dot bonuses, and then I'm running 2-piece Glamoth for the extra damage bonus there as well, and Eidolons at D0. Then for Black Swan, dot build here as well, 134 speed. I do have my effect hit rate only at 106%, which is a little lower than what you wanted to be because you wanted it at 120, but she still gets the job done. She's running S5 Sampo Light Cone here. Traces could be a little bit higher on her as well, and also I added some extra effect hit rate is missing from there as well. Relics, I'm running 4-piece Prisoner and 2-piece Pan-Cosmic Commercial for the extra effect hit rate as well. Then for Eidolons, E0. Then lastly, we have Fu Xuan. Fu Xuan's at 136 speed. Light Cone wise, we have S5, Trend to the Universal Market for the debuffs. This is really good alongside Acheron, as I'm sure a lot of you probably already know. Traces, mostly maxed out here, the important ones. I have the skill leveled up there. I could level up the talent a bit more there, but she still is able to tank relatively fine. Relic wise, we're running 2-piece Longevous, 2-piece Wuthering, so we can have the extra HP and damage reduction. Then 2-piece Fleet of the Ageless for the extra attack buff for the team, and we have her at E1, so she's giving an additional 30% crit damage to all allies when her skill's up, which is really good. So yeah, those are all the builds I have, and that was my Pure Fiction run here using Clara, which we do love to spotlight those older characters. So let me know what you all think, and let me know how you all did in this Pure Fiction. I did think it was easier overall than some of the ones we've had previously. So hopefully they don't throw some crazy difficulty at us moving forward. But yeah, with that, I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed and haven't already, definitely be sure to hit that subscribe button. But with that, I will see you all next time.